30 seconds and counting. 20 seconds and counting. 5.
I'm going to step off the limb now.
4.
It's one small step.
3.
One
2.
giant leap for mankind.
1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour.
Alright, so how's everybody doing? We are back in KSP2. We are just arriving in our Kerbin orbit here as we burn to circularize. Today we are going to the Mun. Valentina has been tasked with going to the Mun and grabbing a space rock. So she will be doing just that. Here we are working on our maneuver to get our encounter with the Mun, which won't take too much. I think we can probably could have done this with the first stage pretty easily. We got more than enough Delta V for this mission. I brought a little extra just in case the rendezvous around the Mun with the lander after it gets back in orbit doesn't really go ideal. We have plenty to play with. So there, we're gonna go ahead and separate from our first stage and just do a little bit of a burn, prograde burn, to get a little better encounter. And then we will warp to the moon. Oh, went a little fast there. Go to our periapsis, and we will burn retrograde to get a stable orbit around the Mun. So I don't really know what you would call this. I guess it's a shuttle. I think it would be called a shuttle. Just a weird shuttle. But it's got a lander hidden in the body there, as you'll see as I kind of get into a better position here. But it does have a lander on the inside that we will be taking down to the moon and then launching back up and rendezvousing with this vessel and then flying back to Kerbin. So we're just gonna kind of go here to our periapsis and bring our apoapsis down. We're gonna get ourselves a pretty stable orbit here without too high inclination, just for the rendezvous with the lander after it leaves the Mun's surface. It should do pretty well. I'm going to use this vessel to pretty much bring the lander into a trajectory to where it can land, and then mainly use the lander to slow it down and re-enter into orbit around the Mun. So here we're going to open the doors. We retracted the solar panels to get those out of the way. And we're going to go ahead and decouple here and get this out of the way. For some reason, the staging quit working, so I had to right-click everything to operate it. But I guess it works all the same. I think after a save, it did end up working again, but at this point it is not working, so That's why you saw the right click instead of just, you know, pressing spacebar. So there you see the lander is away from our carrier vessel here, and we got the doors closed. We're going to go ahead and extend the solar panels again. And we're going to clean up our orbit here a little bit. We don't need to be on such a low trajectory, so we'll go ahead and burn prograde for a little bit and get a nice stable orbit. Bring it up to 40,000, 45,000 meters or so. That should work. All right, and we are going to go ahead and warp around to the bright side of the moon here. And let's go ahead and shoot for right between these two craters here. I don't really like the lighting when you land on those on the dark spots. I don't know if it's like just kind of the early access and if that's going to be fixed, but right now I don't really love how it looks when you're in the dark spots, especially in a recording. It just doesn't look good. So for now, we're going to stick to right in between these dark spots here. We're going to slow ourselves down a little bit and come in for our landing. I'll go ahead and warp there, bring our landing gear out. And this is our final descent before we touch down with the moon.
Contact light. Okay, engine stop. Houston, the Eagle has landed.
All right, so we are here. We've landed on the moon, and Valentina is excited to get out and stretch her legs after such a long mission. Poor Bob's just up there. He's been circling the moon, just kind of, you know, his trip was a little less than exciting, waiting for Valentina to execute her mission. But he's happy to do so, and Valentina's going to go get herself a rock, as she's been instructed to do. This one should do nicely. Store right in her pocket. All right, Valentina, time to head back. Just as soon as she arrived, she is going to leave. But, of course, after the placing of the flag, we go, Val was here. Throw this flag down. Get an action shot, and Valentina is off. So we'll go ahead and head back into space here. Maybe. There we go. All right. And we're here at our rendezvous, well, close to our rendezvous with our return vessel here. And Bob is just making some final adjustments. He's at the helm of this return vessel as it rendezvous with Valentina's lander. What we're doing here is burning retrograde to target, which will bring our orbit into a pretty similar orbit with the lander there. And then we will burn prograde towards the target, or actually just towards the target, until we get a separation of around, that seems good. Then we'll time warp to that point and do a retrograde burn to the target. About right there, and you can see down there we're about 2 kilometers away. We could probably fly Valentina this distance at this point, but like I said, we got plenty of Delta V, so we are going to make things easy on her. Let's bring our... We'll go about 10 meters per second, 11 meters per second. Flip back around to retrograde. Come into about 200 meters, and we will send Valentina over. Yeah, this looks good. All right, Valentina, you're up. Time for your spacewalk over to the return vessel. We will be leaving this lander in orbit for now, and we will probably send a... I don't know, maybe. We'll probably send something up to deorbit it when we come back to the Mun at some point. But I think our next mission is probably going to be... I don't know, I'm not sure. Leave it in the comments what you would like to see. I think I'd like to go to Jewel next. But it's just kind of hard to in KSP2 right now. It's definitely it's more than possible. It's just rough with frame rate and everything. But back to our mission at hand. We have Valentina back in the return vessel. We're going to bring Valentina and Bob around to the backside of the moon for an escape. Just so we can get our lower Kerbal orbit. Kerbin orbit. Is it Kerbal? Kerbin? I don't know. I'm not sure. But here we go for our burn. And that should do it. That gets us on our trajectory back to Kerbin. Then we will start our retrograde burns to bring our orbit down. There we go. We can warp around to our periapsis. Bring our apoapsis down. Retrograde burn. Alright, well at this point the mission was pretty much a success. We are going to come in for a water landing because our parachutes are not really strong enough to slow us down quite enough. A little bit of an oversight on my part, but we can safely perform a water landing, so not a big deal. Go ahead and warp around here. And come in for our final descent into Kerbin. We'll go ahead and prep the pod for re-entry. Go ahead and bring the solar panels in, antennas in. Alright, and we will bring it down for re-entry. So that's going to be it. We just went to the moon and back. We're coming back into Kerbal. Landing right in the middle of the ocean. But anyways, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching.